Good morning, and today what I'd like to do is to show you how to design a fin for your rocket. Now the tricky part about the fin is going to be to get the fin to match the curve on our bottle. So the first thing we do is we take our bottle and we lay it down on a piece of paper, and then what I like to do is just kind of eyeball and draw the curve on my piece of paper, just kind of eyeballing it, something like that. Okay. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to take this one side. I don't have to deal with the other side because we'll just take the fin and cut it out and trace it over onto the other side. But from here, what I want to do is just draw some kind of pattern. And so the pattern I'm going to make today is I'm going to make just a pretty straightforward angle coming out like this, and then we're going to go down, and then I want to be careful because the launcher has to grab onto this lip here of the bottle, so I want to stay away from that. So I'm going to make sure that my fin it stays away from that and comes out far from it. So I'm going to have something like this. Okay, so my fin's going to look something like that. Now I'm ready for step 2, and the next thing I want to do is I want to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to cut out this fin shape, and I'm going to do my best to get really close to the curve that I have. Does not have to be perfect though. Okay, so here's my fin, and the part of the fin that's going to cut through the air is called the leading edge. I'm going to mark that right now. This is the leading edge, is over here. And that helps me remember what my fin's going to look like. It's going to look something like that on my rocket. Okay. Now I'm going to take this fin, I'm going to transfer this pattern to a piece of sturdier cardboard, and I'm just going to trace around it. And then here I want to get that curve down. So now it looks like this. I'm gonna label my leading edge. So this side goes against the bottle, something like this. We'll match it up better on the next step, but we're close. Now I'm gonna cut out the fin out of the cardboard, and I have something like that. And now here's the critical part. I need to get a good match on that curve on the bottle that I'm going to use, because the glue that's going to hold the fin on the rocket doesn't like to have a lot of gaps between the plastic of the fin and the plastic of the bottle. So I want that curve to match very well. So you have to get it up there and think, well, you know what, it doesn't quite feel right. It seems like I'm a little high right here. I need to take a little bit off, so I'm going to just take my scissors and just trim off just a hair. You can see there that I didn't trim off very much, just a tiny little sliver. I think that's going to help me fit my fin a little bit better. I feel like I've got a pretty good fit right now, so I'm ready to go. This is going to be my fin design. I'm ready to cut out on the plastic. Before I do any cutting though, I'm going to take my fin and I'm going to draw some lines that are parallel to the leading edge. This is going to help me get my fin oriented correctly on the plastic that I'm going to use. Now I've got some plastic. This plastic is great stuff for making the fins of our water rockets. I like this material because it's very strong. It's like cardboard, but when it gets wet, it won't get soggy and deteriorate like cardboard does. Some of the material we have has some letterings on it. Don't worry about that. It's not a big deal. We're going to take our fin, and now here's where it's important to recognize that the plastic that we're using has these grains in it. It's corrugated like corrugated cardboard, and it's important for us to line up the leading edge of our fin with these corrugations. That gives us the fin the most strength possible. So you can see that the lines of the plastic are going this way. I'm going to line up my leading edge with those lines, and then I'm going to trace out. All right, there's one. Okay. And now in order to get as many of them as possible on my piece of plastic, I'm going to flip my fin and do this, and then I might have enough to put a third one over here. Let me see now if I do this, and then this one, and then this one. Oops, I'm probably not going to have enough, so I may have to come up with another idea or get some more plastic. What I don't want to do is say, oops, I'm not going to make it, so I'm going to make my fin like this. But then I would have the problem where the leading edge would not be parallel to the grains on the cardboard. And we've got to have the leading edge parallel to the grain on the cardboard. So let's come back in here and make another one here. Okay. And then lastly, just a little bit short. And okay. Now I'm going to cut out the fins. I'm going to be really careful and try to cut right on those lines. Do the best you can. Now nothing's ever perfect, but we do want to try to get as close as possible. And I'll show you how I'm going to deal with that little notch that I'm missing. I could get some more plastic and just make another fin that's full size, but I have something in mind. Right there, and now I'm going to match the curve on the fin to the curve on the bottle. Okay. Right. Now let's get the bottle and double check. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad. I am missing that little notch. So now I've cut out 3 fins. Your rocket has to have at least 3 fins in order to be stable. And well, my problem is that the 3 fins don't match. Right? These 2 fins match pretty good, but this one I ran short on material, so it doesn't match. But you know, as I was laying out the fins, I remembered that the weakest part of the fin are these corners. These corners are very, very weak because you can see that it's already starting to fray a little bit. And so if I can avoid having corners like this, it's probably a good thing. And so the way I'm going to handle that is I'm just going to change the shape of my fin by just snipping off a little portion like that. And I'm going to do that to each one of these. And I think I like this design a little bit better anyway. Okay. So now I have 3 fins. Each fin should be able to fit on the bottle nicely. Okay, if you need to do any kind of adjustments, okay, now's a good time to try to make any kind of adjustments before we actually glue the fins on.